Let's kick it over to the St. Louis. No, wait. I mean Los Angeles Rams. And Les Snead, who's the Rams GM, says Case Keenum is our starting quarterback.
Because they're going back to Cali.
Now we're gonna get muted.
Why? Hey, what? I'm just saying. Look,
don't mute us.
No. Come on, that was beautiful.
But what about this? Case Keenum, starting quarterback. How do you feel about it? I got some stuff on him.
Good luck, Case Keenum. That's all I can say.
Well, let me tell you this. He says right now Case is going to come and be our starting quarterback opening days when we do OTAs. Okay? He said he earned it. We were a slumping football team at the end of the year last year, and he comes in, wins 3 out of 4, and basically drove us down the field to kick the game-winning field goal to win 4 straight, and we missed it. That's a direct quote from CBS Sports. Now, Keenum played in 10 games during his first 2 years, but with the Texans, he had 11 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and 7 fumbles.
Terrible.
In his 1 year with the Rams, he won 3 of 4 games when he came in and replaced Foles, threw for 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, a fumble.
Case Keenum is a backup. Let's be
he's
real
a backup.
about this.
He's a backup. He's not a starter. The fact that he finished those 3 out of 4 games with 4 TDs, 1 INT, and a fumble. That's 2 giveaways, though. That you can't give the ball away in the NFL. You cannot give the ball away, especially when you're supposed to be the field general.
But the real field general.
And playing in that division, they got a big uphill slope to go.
But the star of that team is not going to be whoever lines up behind center. It's going to be whoever lines up behind quarterback, and that's going to be Todd Gurley. Playing in 13 games last year, broke 1,000 yards, 4.8 a carry, 71-yard long, 10 touchdowns.
But like I said, he's gonna get the bug.
3 fumbles. 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles. No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He played great. He only had 1 lost. But you put the ball on the ground, you put the ball on the ground. I don't care if we got it back. You still put the ball on the ground. You got to fix that.
Yeah, you can't put the ball on the ground. You have to hold on to it, and you have to make a play because you are a quarterback.
Oh, so are we talking Coughlin to the Rams now?
Coughlin to the Rams? Oh, man.
No, it was a joke. It was the Tiki Barber, high and tight. Tiki Barber fumbling problems.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say. I was like, yeah, dude.
High and tight.
That old man doesn't get a job anymore. He better just enjoy retirement.
Eagles wanted him.
No, they didn't.
I would have taken him, too.
Yes, they did, except he wanted to bring his whole staff.
Yeah.
And the Giants wouldn't release McAdoo and Spags, and then he said he didn't want the job. They called him back for a second interview.
I absolutely would have taken him.
They called him back for a second interview, and that's why the Giants jumped on McAdoo, because they were afraid he was going to leave with Coughlin. That's what they say went down. But let's stick with the Giants and talk about...
Already.
It's not that big of a thing. It's not really about the Giants. John Mara, the owner, came out and said this year was a setback when it comes to concussions for the NFL. After the NFL finally admitted that there was a link between football and CTE. The NFL released a report saying that there were 271 total concussions in 2015, which was up considerably from 206 in 2014. The NFL also called it a system failure when Case Keenum clearly suffered a concussion and was not removed by the concussion spotter, who is capable of stopping the game at any time to take out any injured player. What do you guys think about the CTA?
Well, it's unfortunate because, there was a lot of, greats that we've lost. Junior Seau.
That was a real sad story.
Not only that, just, all the old school players that were taught to lower your head,
And all the players that nobody ever heard of.
Yeah.
That got hurt and never even made a name for themselves, never even made any money.
Yeah, well, let's just put it this way. If you don't know who those players are, then you need to go watch NFL films and go brush up on your history because...
No, but I'm talking about a random backup center from 1972. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
that nobody knows who got those concussions, who didn't make any money and got the concussions in practice and now has CTE. Yeah. That's who was really doing this. People like that who couldn't afford the medical bills. That's how this whole lawsuit CTE thing initiated.
Well, when you are working in a job site, okay, you are protected under OSHA and all these things. There's regulations in order to maintain a safe working environment. This has been a problem for a long time. How many, we were on the tail end of the generation where it was like, is it broken? Then go back in the game.
Yeah, I kind of disagree, though. I mean, certain jobs, because you know what you're signing up for. Being in the military is a job, but I don't think
take care of their people when they get home. But that's different podcast.
I agree with you. Total different podcast. But
so if anything, you just made a great but what I'm comparison to the NFL, not taking care of their people.
But a military guy isn't going to complain when he got shot at. A military guy's expecting to get shot at least. I mean, he should be, in my opinion. If you're in war. I think a football player, if you're going to play football, you might get a concussion.
Yeah, but you would hope that your boss is doing everything in their power to maintain your safety.
They
just
are,
like as a soldier would hope that his squad leader and his generals are, their intel is good enough to keep him alive.
You're absolutely right. And they didn't have all this scientific, all this education going on back then, so I don't blame the old timers, because they may not have known. But nowadays we do know if you sign up for football, you might get a concussion. If you don't want a concussion, don't sign up for football. That's how I see it from here on out. And I do think they are trying to make it safer. I mean, John Mara is one of the best owners. Them and the Rooneys from Pittsburgh. They're those old school NFL families who really do seem to care about the player. And most players who leave those organizations say that they do.
They're your workers.
They're trying to fix it.
It's your
but
product.
It's a scientific. It's doctors. We don't know that much about the brain.
Exactly.
So
I mean? we need to be working closely with the medical community and making sure that this information is being shared openly.
I'm just throwing in on there. That's why you saw those was a couple players from San Francisco that retired at
real early,
early in their careers,
first round draft pick.
because they were afraid of the potential head injury, the head injuries and the repercussions that would come from that after they retired. They didn't want to deal with it.
And then not only that, all the treatments and stuff for those diseases are usually filled with man-made compounds that cause even more ailments for you.
Yep, and different types of addiction problems.
Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely right.
So it's a that's why I'm saying you got to take care of your employees. And now now that everything was put on the spotlight with that
they were kind of forced.
That documentary, then the movie came out, and then
Junior Seau's suicide was a big.
That was
shooting himself in the chest so they could study his brain.
That was big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so sad.
It was. But, wow, second sad note of the Voice of Bedlam podcast.
I know, right? You just made me
get real somber
because,
because
and I paused for a minute, and I apologize to the listeners, but I just went back because I can remember Junior Seau strapped up in those Chargers gear, just leveling people.
I feel like Junior Seau's jersey sold so he was probably one of the biggest selling jerseys in the mid '90s.
Yeah, probably.
They have
other than
stats
Raiders
on that stuff.
gear.
We should look that up one day.
We should.
But let's keep going. Also at these meetings, kicking it over to Green Bay, Mike McCarthy, the head coach, confirms that the team is moving forward from receiver James Jones. Now, I mean, as a Giants fan, we had James Jones on our roster, and God, could we have used him, and then they unexpectedly cut him. He goes to Green Bay. What do you have, 4 touchdowns in the first 2 games? He was their leading receiver. He was their leading receiver on the year. Fell off at the end, but the opening of his year was great. I would take him as a number 4 on my squad anytime. Hopefully he can play special teams, though, if he's a number 4.
I think the Packers are probably looking to, get Jordy Nelson back, Randall Cobb, who he didn't have a great season this year, and neither did Devontae Adams. They were looking for those 2 guys to fill in for Jordy Nelson. So maybe they're just saying, all right, well,
what happened?
Nice to know you, but we're going in another direction. We got Jordy Nelson coming back.
What happened with these
and
Green
then
Bay
James
Packers,
Jones
though?
he'll get a job somewhere
But Jordy
else.
Nelson is a receiver over 30 coming back from an ACL injury.
He's still a top 10 receiver
Come
in
on,
this
dude,
league.
an ACL though, over 30.
He's a top.
That's a big deal. Look at Cruz.
He's a top 10
That's
receiver
a patella.
in this league.
But look at Cruz. That's a patella. He ain't played in 18 months. This dude is older than Cruz. It is a more common injury. I'm just saying, you don't know.
You're talking
Jordy
about
Nelson.
Aaron Rodgers' #1 target out there.
Yeah, but you're talking about a man who's over 30 that tore his ACL. Well, nobody comes back good except for AP off an ACL.
Saying, I just got done saying they're looking to Devontae Adams and they're looking to Randall Cobb to fill those shoes.
But why would you get rid of your leading receiver? I mean, he is old. He is far older than Jordy Nelson. But I'm saying, as a backup plan, Jordy Nelson could be pup listed. You don't know.
You know where he would have a nice little landing spot?
Jones, who? Where? Carolina.
The other New York team.
To the Jets. Wow, dude.
I can see that.
3 wide receivers and no quarterback. Can one of them guys throw the ball? Can he throw?
You guys boys there still. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's still a
No,
New
he's
York.
a free agent. He's
Well,
not with the Jets.
Yeah.
All right, but you guys keep saying that he's going to go back to the Jets. At least I know Andrew.
Once everything, all the options are off the table, yeah, probably.
Not that he's gonna go back, but I think that's where he would have the most.
He still
success.
hasn't gone anywhere yet.
That's where he would.
Yeah.
He's had offers. He just wants more money. They want to pay him like $8 million, and he wants 18.
Now, not to interject way too much, but let's move on real quick to these Redskins. What are they doing? They're like playing like burn squad, like Philadelphia. It's like the NFC East had like an atrocious year, and now New York spending money like they just finally cashed in their inheritance.
They got their income tax return.
Yeah, they got their income tax return. They're buying up people left and right. Philadelphia is firing their coach, their team. And just, it's pandemonium over there. And now what? Washington gets rid of people. They can't lock down their quarterback.
Well, let's talk about their latest person they got rid of.
Alfred Morris.
They lost Alfred Morris. They could have offered him a better deal, I guess, if they offered him anything.
Yeah.
He has signed with the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
That's going to be a nice duo, though.
Well, I got to tell you, man, he hasn't really done much the past couple years. Only 751 yards last year with 1 touchdown. But Alfred Morris, running behind the Great Wall of Dallas, he could really bounce back running behind that line.
I agree.
It's going to be the return of, I know you guys probably don't remember USC football, but Thunder and Lightning.
I know Thunder and Lightning as Ron Dane and Tiki Barber.
Well, I remember Thunder and Lightning as Reggie Bush and Lindell White. Yeah.
No, I got the little like model like Hess truck looking thing with Ron Dane and Tiki Barber on it. Ron Dane, what a bust.
Yeah, right. He was awesome in Wisconsin, though.
Didn't he win the Heisman?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I think so. But back to your this division. Now that Alfred Morris is there with Darren McFadden, who's usually injury prone when he was in Oakland, he gets to share that backfield with Alfred Morris,
who's never missed a game, by the way.
Who do you think gets more playing time there?
I'm going to go Morris.
I think so, too.
They like that power scheme.
Yeah.
You got a 2-year deal for
$5.5
million with $2 million guaranteed. Now, that's for a guy that's 27 years old, so it kind of makes sense. But where do the Cowboys? Where do you guys think the Cowboys use Alfred Morris? You think he's their #1 back? Because he's a player on a
he has to be, and not
he's
only
on a steady decline since he was
did
drafted.
You're absolutely right.
But he didn't have a line.
True, and he did have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, but he only had 1 touchdown this past year. I mean, he's definitely been on a downslope, but I mean, the Great Wall of Dallas seems to be back. I hate to say it. But
so we'll see.
Downhill running back. I mean, think about
bad news for
pretty
much everyone in the NFL. They're the NFC East except the Cowboys, I guess.
Yeah, think about DeMarco Murray.
Yeah,
think about what he did in Dallas.
Yeah,
and then think about what he did with the Eagles.
So that 2-back system
Chip Kelly
work out really well
right?
because they're gonna have 2 types of runners.
Yeah, exactly. And they just got to split them up right. I mean, you got your downhill guy, you got your east-west guy. Neither one of them's going to be
not only that, you're going to play your matchups.
Neither one of them's, yeah, absolutely. Neither one of them's going to be the real workhorse. I think Morris will get a little bit more playing time, and his stats might get inflated because he's going to get the goal line carries. He's going to be the touchdown guy.
This is a new pro game. You know, just because you're deemed as starting running back does not mean that you're getting the rock every time the ball is going to a running back. You know, there's a lot of talent on these benches, and these coaches are utilizing it, and they're cycling through players because they realize they have to in order to maintain the health of their players and
protect the investment
and protect their team's investment, and with getting all the players that are under contract out there working.
Now let's look at the Washington Redskins draft. Okay, let's rewind. What is that, 4 or 5 years ago? Okay, they draft RG3 with that crazy trade. Then they also draft another quarterback in the same draft, Kirk Cousins, and then Alfred Morris. They have lost 2 out of those 3 players, and they almost lost the 3rd in Kirk Cousins, but now, I mean, he's staying in Washington, but what is going on, Daniel Snyder? You're losing RG3 and Morris. That's terrible for a team. You have to build through the draft. Some people have got to lose their jobs in Washington. RG3
well,
has
they're not going to repeat, that's for sure. So, it gives, if anything, you should be doing this like, oh, thank you. Oh my God! Thank you, Washington. Please let me get a shot at the division again. Thank you.
I don't really like the fact that Morris went over to the Cowboys. I think he would play way better
exactly.
there.
So now you guys got more competition down there coming out of that South.
Yeah, and that would be the team I would be most feared of. RG3 has been meeting with the Browns. What do you guys think about that? We've been talking about this on and off.
Texas is representing right now as 2 strong teams. It's looking like with the Texans and those Dallas Cowboys looking pretty strong.
Yeah, but what about RG3 going to the Browns?
What about him?
He met with them.
Oh, well, I think that's where he's going to end up.
That's where I think. Yeah. What do you think, Sean?
I think he's got a chance to go pretty much to any team. Cleveland makes sense because they're that team that's always looking for a quarterback. So,
and then not only that, Brian Hoyer's still there, right?
Yeah, and I think they should.
No, Brian Hoyer's in Houston.
Yeah, that's Texas.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think of who would be his backup then.
Josh McCown.
Okay, so that's a decent backup, man.
As far as I know.
So competition-wise, I could see him being number 1, but
you need a good backup if you got RG3.
Exactly. So when you say McCown, I don't know, but you know what? Then
quarterback competition.
But what that means is then they can draft that young guy, a young quarterback in this draft.
Are they going to carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster, sacrifice a special teamer? A lot of teams don't do that anymore.
They're going to have to do something. It's either that or, let the rook, fight for that second spot.
Well, they'd pretty much have to give it to him. They couldn't cut the rookie. If they drafted one, they can't cut him. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it would really be a battle then between RG3 and Brown. Yeah, well, if they were to do that, it would depend on where they pick the quarterback because he would have to clear waivers first, which means every team would be eligible to grab player X. We're not even putting a name on it, but would be eligible to grab him if they were to cut him, and then he might not never make it through to the practice squad.
I didn't know that, but thank you. Thank you for filling me in, sir. We got a lot of there.
All right, we got a quick little thing here on the Chiefs. Huge blow to one of the dominant linebackers left in this league. Justin Houston, ACL surgery in February, may not take a single snap this coming year. They're saying it wasn't a full tear, but it wasn't functioning properly. He's going to be out 6 to 12 months. He can miss the whole season. If he gets back in 6 months, that's right around, August. So he'll find his way onto the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. But, that's a huge blow for Kansas City.
So that just means them Raiders is going to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, the Chiefs still got people like Tamba Ali and, what's his name, Howard. You know what I mean? They still got a defense there. They definitely still got a defense.
And ACL is a really hard injury to come back from, especially quickly. So if you're put in a 6 month time frame on that. Like, well, yeah, 6 months a year, but you're saying closer to 6 months than rather a year. That's wishful thinking, I think. And that's going to put you right around training camp.
He beat cancer.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean he's going to come back from an ACL that quick.
I know, but I mean,
and even if he comes back and he makes the training camp, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be ready to go week 1 either.
Oh, of course, yeah. He looks like it would probably be a pup listed situation.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But let's move on to a segment we haven't done in a little while. We are also going to hit up a 4-minute hut. All right, how's everybody doing out there today? Thanks for tuning in to this special edition Voice of Bedlam podcast. If you want to take that next jump with your business or company, you need to come over and advertise on the Voice of Bedlam podcast. Get your ad heard by thousands on a reoccurring basis. Just click buy now and send us your info. Thanks a lot, guys.